Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to another new video. And yes, it's been a few weeks since I filmed, and I want to apologize for that and tell you that there's been a lot going on over this last month. And yes, I am going to announce to you, I'm going to get right into it, that I have a submitted, accepted order on a new 2023 Demon 170. Yes, that's happening. Yes, I got the spec picked out, and I don't think I can change it at this point. But if I can, I will find out, because I would love your opinion on what I should do. And I may have gotten a little bit of peer pressure from my house, from my CEO of my household, which is known as my wife, and maybe a few other people who pushed me in this direction. And I felt like it was a logical direction to go. But there's part of me that's torn. So I'd love to hear your input on the spec that I'm going with, and I'll share that with you in a second. But I also want to share with you that, you know, I've been transparent with everybody for almost 5 years now that I've been doing this YouTube thing. And if you watch some of my older videos, people are like, why are you doing YouTube? What are you doing that for? You've got this great career, great job. You're a corporate executive guy. I mean, YouTube, seriously, grow up and act your age. And I've heard that more times you could possibly even imagine, because, yes, I am a 53-year-old man that is on YouTube and trying to film every single week. And maybe I missed a few weeks here and there, but for the most part, you can count on one hand how many weeks I've missed in the last 5 years, because I have been dedicated and committed. And as I've shared with you all, this was a small business that I wanted to build. And more than anything, I wanted to show that I could do this YouTube thing, that I could build a YouTube channel that would get views, that would provide revenue, income, some tax benefits, everything else. Well, I've accomplished that. It's done. I've done it. It's done. I mean, you know, look, I think we passed 15 million total views on the channel. I don't know how many watch hours, and I'm at almost 57,000 subscribers now. My goal and dream was to get to 100,000 subscribers, and it's just, I'm plateaued, man. I mean, I'm just cruising along. I can do some shorts and get big subscriber counts real quick, but they don't come back and watch the long form content. So if I'm going to do this fairly, I'm going to keep doing it the way I've been doing it. But my challenge, folks, is, you know, I'm enjoying my weekends with my daughter. I'm enjoying being out there on the highway. You guys don't like watching the on-the-road traveling videos, the car trip, car meet videos, and the videos with any Lamborghinis in them. It's just, the comments are horrible. I need therapy after I watch those comments. So that's been a challenge, and I can't take I drive my daily driver, my Dodge, every single day. So to take that on the weekends, I mean, why? I've got my Lamborghini. I want to drive that on the weekends with all my Lamborghini friends. And that's kind of where I'm at now, is thinking, like, is it time to hang this thing up? Is it time to say, I accomplished it? I got to almost 60,000 subscribers. I hit 15 million views. I did it in my 50s, early 50s, thank goodness so far. And look, the challenge is over, and start something new. I'm thinking maybe start a finance channel or something, or I don't know, something that doesn't take as much time to put together and has maybe a broader audience to hit that 100,000 subscribers. I don't know. Here's what I know is I've been doing a lot of soul searching this last month, trying to figure this out. At the same time, as I promised you all, I go out hunting and searching for a Hellcat. That's what I've been doing, because I wanted to prove to you all that I could get a Hellcat 2023, last call, final edition, not the special edition, but just one of the final cars, just a regular Hellcat, wide body Challenger would be nice, but I'd take a Charger and not pay a markup. And that was the challenge I set forth to prove to you all that I could do. Not only did I pull that off, I found multiple Challengers, multiple Chargers where I would not have to pay a markup. And it's not just because of my YouTube channel, it's because I hustled, I made the calls, I walked into many dealers and had conversations, I found cars that were getting canceled. And by the way, those of you who have messaged me on Instagram, I've sent you links to these dealerships and helped some of you find your cars and get your cars. And some of you have done the same for me, which I've appreciated tremendously. So finding a car without a markup is absolutely possible. And even as of today, I got a message from a guy saying, look, I found a King Daytona at sticker. So I believe that everything I've told you all in my predictions is coming true, that the economy is definitely causing some frustration and stress on people who ordered these cars, who now, as they're showing up, don't want to make these enormous payments because they had no clue that they're going to be looking at $1,500 to $2,000 car payments if they get the cars without having to pay a markup. If they pay a markup, they're going to have to put down so much more cash to cover that markup, and the banks are turning down loans like crazy because they don't. Go watch Lucky Lopez's channel. He'll tell you, I mean, that's a great channel where you can see what's happening out there with the banks. The banks are pulling out. And by the way, unless you live underneath a rock, you can see that banks are going out of business right now as well. So that is not boding well for getting humongous car loans with very little down. And very little down, when I say that, I mean you put down a $50,000 over sticker markup in cash, and then you finance the $100,000 MSRP of that car. That's nothing down with $50,000 out of your pocket, because that car is very likely never going to be, at least in the near future, going to be worth over MSRP, and you're upside down in it with that 50 grand, and you're upside down in it because you paid MSRP and financed the whole thing. As far as the bank's concerned, you're buried in that car, so they're being very, very restrictive on giving out those loans. So they're coming out there. The cars are showing up. I showed you one of my last videos. 2023s are all over underground parking lots and behind dealerships, and I'm telling you, the Ford Broncos, I saw a big truck load of them headed to dealership today, and I thought that's hilarious because everywhere you go, people are trying to get way too much money for these things off the dealership floors, because I believe the same thing's happening with all the dealers. So yes, the market's softening. The economy is definitely softening. Interest rates are not getting any better. Went up again last week. Definitely you're going to be paying, I mean, for an average credit score, let's say in the mid to high sixes, you're going to be paying probably 9, 10, 11% interest. If you're really, really, really lucky, you might get 4 to 5% interest. And some of you out there that always have to chime in and say, I got 0%, or I got 1%, or I got 2%. You're not us. You're not the rest of us who actually use their credit a lot and have to fight with a FICO score that bounces. Mine bounces from 680 to 780, depending on where I stand. I think I'm at 704 right now. It's almost 750 a month ago. And this is just the way it is. So interest rates are really high. So because of that, yes, you can find these cars out there. And maybe even, I don't know, you might be able to find a Demon 170 out there that somebody ends up canceling down the road and get it for MSRP. I don't know. What I do know is that they cut off orders. I believe the orders have to be in by May 15th, so people are going to have to get them in, and once they're in, then it's a matter of them delivering on those cars. And I would expect my car probably wouldn't be here until, I don't know, August, September, maybe even October, but because I'm not paying over MSRP, it will be one of the first group of cars built, although there's over 1,000 cars that they say are sold at or below MSRP. So that's a lot of cars that are probably in front of me as well. I got my order in on April 7th, and I'll show you real quick right here so you know I'm not giving you crap. And this is just an email I got once I got that thing in. So there it is. I covered up my reference number, and I covered up my last name. And the order's submitted on 4/7/2023, and you can see it came to my email. So that is true. It's legitimate. It happened. So I'm excited about that. I'm also terrified because I didn't think I was going to be buying another $106,000 car in the middle of recession, even though I was out searching. I also didn't expect that my beautiful, amazing daughter would crash in the back of my Lamborghini, which is worth maybe a little bit over $100,000. But now I can't find parts to fix it properly because they simply don't make them anymore. So now I've got to wait for somebody to fabricate the inside of my bumper brace to be able to start the repair to make it back to like new. So I'm not selling that car, and that's a lot of cars I'm going to be having. I also have the cop car, as you know, and I haven't done a lot of videos on that because y'all didn't watch those videos either. So bottom line is, yes, this car will be coming and the order is in. So that is awesome. And yes, I'm excited. I'm nervous because it's like, wow, I don't think I could daily drive this thing, but will I? I probably will, just for video content if we continue down this road, which brings me to this. While I was contemplating whether or not I would continue this YouTube thing, I get this order. I mean, I literally strike gold. I hit it. It's just amazing. It amazes me sometimes that when I put my mind to something, that there's almost nothing in the world that will stop it from happening. I maybe doubted myself a little bit on this one, but I pulled it off. So now I've been thinking over this last month about this order I've got in, and things will start coming soon, and I'll get hopefully VIN numbers, and I'll start getting some process, and I'll update you all on this. But here's where I'm at now. This car needs to be on YouTube. That's the whole point of this car, and I want to share it with you all. So probably this car, you tell me, might stop or at least break this plateau of subscribers and growth that I'm on right now. And if it does, awesome. If it doesn't, I'll still be glad I got this car, and since I got it at MSRP, I won't be beholden to it. I won't be trapped. But I can't imagine ever wanting to sell that car, because I do believe that is a special car. I do believe that is a car that will ultimately go up in value over time, as long as you don't give the dealership all of your appreciation up front, which I'm not having to do. So let's talk about the Spec and the decision that I made on the Spec. So I'm going to go flip to my screen here real quick, and we're going to go through the process and the build out. Now, obviously, when I built it out the other day, it was actually a month ago. It was different than this, but we're going to go on here and do a little build out here. So let's go to where we can change the colors. So what color do you think I went with? Now, you all know I do love the Go Mango, but I ordered a Scat Pack with Go Mango a few years ago and decided that I didn't like it when it showed up, and it was probably because it was dirty, and I don't know what I was thinking. Now I see them on the road and I love them. But I did not go with Go Mango because a friend of mine is getting Go Mango, and that would seem like I'm copying him. You may know who this is, but I'm not going to say because I don't know how much he said. So let's go to Sublime. You all know how much I love Sublime. I've talked about it many times, that I want Sublime green, and I love this color, and I just love the bright colors. But when I look at it on this thing, without those front fender flares, it just seems like it really does pronounce the lack of the front fender flares, which is good because it screams out Demon 170, but I'm not sure the green really hits like I thought it would. And then you've got, of course, when I asked my wife, what about Plum Crazy? That would be awesome. She says, hell no. Of course, I said red. She says, well, all you need is a Corvette next, so don't do that. I looked at Destroyer Gray, and I love that color, and that was probably one of the closest runner-ups. But ultimately, because of my red eye, if you remember that car, black was the choice. And I think I'm good. I think I'm good on black because my red eye was probably one of my most favorite, most beautiful cars ever, and I still regret selling that car because it was perfect. But I didn't realize at the time the market was going to hold as long as it did, and I was putting a lot of miles on it, daily driving it, so who knows where I'd be right now. Might be out of warranty, who knows where I'd be with that car. But I do wish I still had it. So black, and I decided to go with none of these graphics, and for a couple reasons. One, I want to do my own livery on this thing. That's OC Motivator livery, like I did in my red eye, where the satin black I end up putting on the hood has my logo imprinted in it, and it may be a different kind, different, not color, but different texture of the wrap on the hood, just that square portion like they do for these. And then the interior, I believe you have to get the interior. You got to get the red interior. If you're going to get a black one, got to get red. So I got the red with the red seat belts, and that is going to look beautiful. And then what about the wheels? Well, I know everybody's going to say, you better have gotten the carbon fiber wheels. I didn't, and let me tell you why. $11,495. Just being straight up honest, that's a lot of money for wheels, and there's a lot of issues when you decide to go with a carbon fiber wheel. Go watch Speed Phenom's YouTube channel and his Z06 challenges he's having with his carbon fiber wheels. Not every tire shop can just swap tires out for you. Now, I expect I may drive this thing to work and back and drive it out, for a week straight and just enjoy it out there on the highway. And I may want to or need to change the tires around to be able to do that. And if I do that, I want to be able to go right around the corner to Big O Tire and have them swap the tires and not give me a long explanation on why they don't mess with carbon fiber wheels. That is a problem. It's a real problem. And if somebody doesn't do it right, they start tearing up those wheels. Again, check out Speed Phenoms page. So I don't want to take that chance. So between the almost $12,000 expense and the challenge in constantly changing tires, which I would probably need to do, especially if I decide to go track this thing, which I would love to do, then I'm going to be, and by the way, I don't expect to go out there and beat cars that have been built for this. This thing's built for this, but it's still a factory car, and there's cars out there that are even way more capable than this even. So I expect that, carbon fiber wheels versus the steel wheels aren't going to make, or the aluminum wheels aren't going to change things that much for me. But I would love to go out and experience what it's like to head down a drag strip, and if I can pull that off, I certainly will be working towards making that happen. So I'll be going with the forged aluminum wheels. Also, as many of you have heard, the carbon fiber wheels are sold out. But I did hear out there that I could probably pull some off if I needed to. I don't want to go through the issues, nor do I want to drop the extra money. I wanted to keep this thing as close to $100,000 as I possibly could. So that is the spec that I'll be putting on that car. And let me see if I've got this. I'll show you right here. So here is the breakdown of the price and what I'm getting on this car. So the spec. So here it is, $96,666. That's the sticker price for the car. And if you come down here, I've got the $6,000 for the interior. I decided to go with the red Laguna leather interior, the red seat belts, and after the destination fee, gas guzzler tax, you've got $106,751. That is what I'll be paying for this car. There is a chance, because interest rates suck so bad, that I may have to drop $100,000 in cash to pull this thing off. So after I add tax and license into this thing, I'm starting to break the maybe 115 range, 116 range, and that's a lot of cash to part with. But if I have to, then I have to, because I'm not going to pay $2,000-$3,000 a month for a car at this point that I want to keep for the rest of my natural life. A lot of the cars, most of the cars, as I've shared with you in the past, I finance those cars because the expense I write off and the business use for the channel, it just makes sense because my cost to own the car versus what I make on the car, what I write off on the car, generally balances out. So it's like having a free car. In this case, I don't expect I'll ever sell this car. So paying that $106,000, stroking a check and paying cash for it to not pay a ton of interest on that thing, since I'll be keeping it forever, just makes sense. And my wife made me agree to sign in blood a document that I would never sell that car, because she's completely on board with this thing as well. Her first reaction was sell the Lamborghini and buy the Demon, and I just told her if I can't figure out how to do both, then I'm not doing either, because that Lamborghini makes me happy. I know you all hate it, but I love that car. Childhood dream that came true for me, and I got it. Imagine the two of the greatest my dream cars for many of us in my garage. A Lamborghini, even though it's a baby Lambo and it's an old Lambo, and recently crashed Lambo, and a Dodge Demon 170. That is an absolute dream come true, and I will be happy as can be. And in this recession, this just makes sense. If I can just stroke a check for this thing, I'm going to pull that off. So I'm making a lot of moves out there to make sure I can pull that off. But I also have to preface this video, or just maybe even not preface, just end this order with there's so many things that could happen. I mean, they don't even know if they're going to be able to deliver on all the cars. Something could go sideways with the dealership. Who knows? I almost have a challenge believing that I pulled this off, so I'm trying to undersell it, which is why it's taken me over a month, actually just about a month and a day, before I told any of you about this, because I hate to say it and then jinx it and something goes wrong. But as of right now, bottom line is the order is in. This thing hopefully will be coming sometime in the third quarter of this year. Maybe it'll take to the fourth. But if you want to see how this goes, be sure to like and subscribe and help me grow that subscriber count and stay in this YouTube thing, because I'm no quitter. I'm also realistic that if I keep filming every single weekend and keep going nowhere, then I might as well just do something else. And I'm not complaining, folks. You guys have been amazing. But the reality of it is there's so many other things I could do to generate income, revenue, and start a business than film every weekend and just keep hanging at the same level. So hopefully this will take you guys, take you guys there with me. We'll get past 60,000 real soon and head towards 100,000, because I really don't want to leave this thing. I enjoy it. It's fun. It is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. And I would love you to watch some of the other content. One way you can show me that you would like the channel to stick around for a very long time would be to go watch my cop car content. Recently, go watch my dash cam install, where my wife made a beautiful and amazingly hilarious cameo in that video. And I think it was a fun video to film as well. So with that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment. I really appreciate the last 4 or 5 years you following me. And if anything, the culmination of, let's say, 4.5, 5 years of filming videos in my driveway and driving around out there with a giant camera in my hand and trying to create content of value for you all, if it landed me here today with an order on a Demon 170, the last monster beast ever to be built by Dodge with over 1,000 horsepower, it was all worth it. So thanks, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.